So instead of wanting to speak about sperm, eggs, IUI, IVF, thought I'll talk about, thought I'll talk about something which actually has not only changed my life, has brought me into a different sphere of people apart from doctors. And the most important thing is that the new fertility battlefield is not in the laboratory. It lies on your screen. And why do I say it? Because it matters, because the IVF industry, and I'm not talking of the IVF only, every industry has changed, completely changed. Now the patient's decision to come to you is based on a 60-second reel which decides the first consultation of that patient. And the moment you realize it, things change. Now, why digital? Now we have to understand one simple fact. There are 4 pillars of the whole story. The number 1 pillar is your visibility. Where are you visible? The second thing is that once you are visible over a period of time and somebody has listened to you deeply, they build a trust. And this trust changes to a conversion, and it ultimately gives them a baby. So the story of having a baby is not from any other place. It starts from their telephone. Now, my story is very simple. I started during COVID. After having posted 70 videos, I had only 1,000 subscribers. I used to put them onto the groups of these which you have in them. Nobody was interested. I had a small conversation with my son and I said, I'm leaving it. You told me to be a YouTuber. He said, why are you doing it? You're doing it for likes, subscribes, or patients? I kept quiet. He said, why don't you create something with all that you have, which you have worked for in the last 30 years, to be valuable for people? And you don't have to get anything and ask for anything. So my first video was during COVID. It was live with Corona. And the third, one video after I understood why am I making it, went viral, which was best ways to increase your sperm count. And today I stand not at 2.6, I stand at 2.75 million on YouTube. And incidentally, I'm not saying it from the point of view of trying to make a statement. I'm the biggest fertility YouTuber in the world. It's not India. But you know what has it done? It's not a question. What it actually has done is, this is an old slide, 606.96, now I think today it's 700 something million views, 11.7 million hours somebody has watched us, and the subscribers of also there. If you look at these videos, and I'm showing it to you why, for you to actually get inspired, not because I want to show something to you. In fact, it doesn't matter really in that fashion. So 38 million views, 24 million views, 22 million views, 20 million views, 17 million views, 16 million views, and in long form I've had up till close to 7 million views. 7 million people have watched you. So the first video was shot on iPhone 6, OnePlus 6 phone. It was shot without mic. I did not know that the internal microphone was so bad, and there was just no light. This was my first video. Today I shoot on cinema line cameras. I shoot 4K. I have 2 studios and I'm building a third one. But the fact remains, the first one was shot on a OnePlus 6 phone. Now, I'll tell you some truths. Some truths. So the first truth is that the most scientific clinics are not the biggest brands. First thing you have to realize this. So you are saying I'm very scientific. Does it matter? It does, but to you. The second thing is patients trust screens more than stethoscopes. So you've got to realize these two things wherever you sit and you work. The third thing is 70% of fertility decisions are made before the first visit. So what happens? How do people work about it? Let's go into the dynamics of people. How do they do it? So initially they go on to Google and search. Everybody knows. But there are only two search engines in the world, Google and YouTube. Both are search engines. So then they go on to YouTube to do some deep learning. And of course they see Instagram because they want to see their dress designer, their lipsticks, people in the parties. Everybody they want to see good dresses. But suddenly, because they write infertility somewhere, on Instagram, you appear. And it's quick validation. So I'll give you the funnel in the end, and in the end, they make a decision to come to your clinic. That's how it functions. Now, what is the clinic funnel? So the first thing is, you've got to bring into a place of education and ask for nothing. You don't have to ask them, this is my phone number, come to me. Don't. They will never see you again. Nobody wants to be sold. The second thing is that the first thing which happens is education, and people love stories. They need to connect with the emotion. When you see videos for a long time, trust is built, and then they come for consultation. I'll tell you a very interesting formula. So social media is the new consultation room. Now, सबसे बिजी बाजार आपके यहाँ कौन सा है आपके शहर में? बिजी मार्केट प्लेस? चंडीगढ़ 22 सेक्टर. दिल्ली वालों के लिए? दिल्ली वालों के लिए कनॉट प्लेस. बंबई वालों के लिए? बैंड्रा. Now if you go to any of these markets and you go across the market, you have passed about 20,000 people. Do you remember anybody at the end of it? No, because the brain is beautiful at deleting. That's the original design of this brain. Otherwise you'll get killed. But you remember 5 types of people. 5 types of people. Number 1, those who are weird. Somebody having red hair. Somebody having a very funny color. Somebody screaming, somebody dancing on the road. You'll remember them. Number 2, you'll remember somebody scary. Anything scary which comes in front of you, will never forget. The third person you'll always remember is somebody familiar. You go on the road and I meet Nayyar Saab in Connaught Place. I will remember. The fourth person who you always will remember is somebody sexy. Oh, everybody will. But you can't be either of the 4. But you will remember a 5th person who will give you something free for which you would have to pay otherwise. Remember them. So you can be the 5th person to give something free for which you will be remembered later on. There is another very interesting thing which I am going to talk to you. I'll tell you the 7-11-4 rule. How many of you know Shah Rukh Khan? How many of you know Shah Rukh Khan? But does Shah Rukh Khan know you? No. Doesn't know you. How many people know Amitabh Bachchan? But does Amitabh Bachchan know me? Or you or anybody? No. Now, this is a principle which is based on 7-11-4 principle. 7 hours, 11 interactions, and 4 platforms. Now, if I am seeing anything for 7 hours, so I've seen 3 movies of Amitabh Bachchan, I've seen in Kaun Banega Crorepati, I've seen his ad, I've seen on Instagram, I put up. So 7 hours, 11 interactions on 4 platforms, you will never forget the human being. But how will you have 7 hours? Now I come to YouTube. In YouTube, the long form video, I'm not talking of shorts, that long form video develops a very deep trust. And this long form is very comprehensive education, and it has a perfect balance of 2 things, emotion and science. Now just get it. If you want to listen to something, anything which you are facing from, and if there's a story where you can relate, it comes to it, and you can relate with that story, you want to listen to it. Now the second engine is Instagram. How many people are active on Instagram? Now Instagram is very interesting. It's a short form for quick consumption. It has immediate impact. It has exponential reach. It is again story driven. But the most important thing which actually creates your authority is a podcast. Especially if you have been invited to a podcast, not the kind of podcast which we have in our medical industry, where the views are small, 200, 300, 400 views. Somewhere where you go to a podcaster or you have your podcast where you have lakhs of views. Now why do lakhs of views happen? What is the algorithm? The algorithm is, number 1, click through. Have people wanted to stop in the scrolling? And the second is your watch time. If you create a podcast or you are being invited on a podcast where it's a 1 hour podcast and people see it for 3 minutes, YouTube is not going to push it. But if it has been seen for 20 minutes, it is going to be pushed across so that a lot of people view it. So if you have one core idea, so I have an idea today of PRP for endometrium. Do you think people are interested in searching PRP? No. So what do you have to look for? You have to look for an idea in which there is a very large search volume and there is very little competition. You got to look for that topic. And once you have a topic like that, you make a long form for YouTube, you make short for Instagram, and you could create a podcast, and you could write a blog. So you have your private television network, and you could create it for yourself. Now, the 3-engine model which I use is the YouTube, Instagram, and podcast. And it's a triangular framework where each engine feeds the other. So if I'm on Instagram, I would probably be saying in the CTA, for example, if I make I don't have to think much now. So if I make an Instagram post over here, so I'll make something like, आपको पता है कोटा भागी जी ने कितना कमाल का एक कॉन्फ्रेंस किया जिसमें हर डॉक्टर आंखें चौंधियाए बैठा रहा क्योंकि पता उन्होंने क्या बताया. This is a hook. Now I make content. Content has to be ideally for 1 minute 3-pieced. Number 1, डॉक्टर लवनिया ने PRP के बारे में बताया और पता क्या कहा, सब में नहीं होना चाहिए. If I say सब में होना चाहिए, कोई नहीं देखेगा. The second thing I'm going to say something like, or the third thing, and in the fourth thing I'm going to come to a CTA, call to action always, and the call to action would normally be, if you want to know more, come to the long form video, link in the description. So you're driving from one to the other to the third. It becomes a very big content engine. Now people don't buy treatment, they buy hope. Remember this word. People don't buy treatment, they buy hope. A A very big mistake which people do is they say, come to me, not to the other one, because I use embryoscope. A lot of people will say, come to me because I do PRP. Nobody is bothered. Have any one of you listened to that patient say, मुझको बच्चा चाहिए क्योंकि मुझे नहीं तो सास घर से निकाल देगी? And have you ever spoken to the patient when the patient leaves? You not listened to it actually. Have you ever said to the patient when she leaves, परेशान मत हो, तेरी सास के पोता होगा? So she is not come for your PRP. She is not come for your embryoscope. She's come for the emotion and the hope. Now the story formula, it's very simple. I'm giving you all my formulas. Nobody gives it. I gave you because a lot of people have given me. And the world of YouTube, because I have all the friends in the YouTubing industry, whether it's Beer Biceps, whether it's Raj Shamani, they are all my friends. And we have our conferences in Dubai for this. So what happens is, the story formula is, and it's a collaborative industry. It's not a competitive industry. We've got to understand this. Now, the story formula is simple. You've got to identify a problem. You've got to look at the pain and the struggle. You have to come to the possibility. You should have a proof and you should give the path. Simple. Now, why patients share your videos? Why patients share your videos? Because you can show your vulnerability and empathy. I would never say on my video, I'm a great man, I'm president of this, I'm president of this, I shine like this, I have this car. No, who's interested? I would probably say, I can understand the pain in which you are when you don't have a baby. Because the story of the world is not me, it is you. The second important thing is it has to be relatable. If I'm talking of something like the subendometrial lining is to be injected with PRP, who's going to understand you? It's got to be the language. आपकी बच्चेदानी की झिल्ली अगर पतली है और उसके नीचे एक ऐसी चीज लगा दें जिससे वो बढ़ जाए, जिसका नाम होता है PRP, it becomes relatable. The third important thing is it should be useful. Every video when you stand over there needs to be clinically researched, content has to be rich, and it has to be something which is useful. And most important thing, you've got to be judgment free to clear their fears. Because when you're judgment free, it gives you freedom. Now, what is the 7-layer system? If I give you a funnel, you know what's a funnel? Now, I'll explain to you what a funnel is. A funnel is how do you bring people from everywhere into where you want them to be. Simple. It's a marketing funnel which everybody uses as a marketing funnel. Kota Bagiji uses a marketing funnel. Every marketer uses a funnel. Now, the 7-layer growth system would be YouTube, which is the foundation, Reels for viral reach, podcast for authority. Then you've got to give lead magnets, free guides. Simple. How am I going to get the WhatsApp number and the email of somebody? I'm going to give them something free. You have seen this beautiful video on thin endometrium. I'm going to give you a free booklet of how to improve your endometrium. The moment they click on it, they'll give their WhatsApp, they'll give their email. Next is, you bring them into a free webinar. Now, you've got to spend a lot of money in this. Let me be honest, don't think you're making YouTube videos for free. And you start creating communities because the power lies in the community. 2.75 million is a community whose comments I answer. Being in a space where I consider them as important as I think is my importance. Otherwise, you will sit yourself on a pedestal. and you could sell courses or educational material. Now, what should you do weekly? One long form, 5 reels, 1 live, and 1 podcast. Now, what is the team which you should have? So, you've got to have a doctor, an editor, a content writer, a designer, and a community manager. So, you need at least 5 people. Authenticity beats corporate marketing. And most importantly, my personal reflection in the end is, when I made my first video, I was a doctor in a small Indian city. However, I may be going to any conference to present male fertility for the last 8 years. There was nothing more fulfilling to go across to people. And it's not because I'm extraordinary, it is because digital education is extraordinary. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Sunil. I think it has been informative for all of us sitting here, how to go about in digital marketing and what are the steps. You have really explained it. That is what you said. Generally, people don't like to share how to go about it. So you have been very kind enough to tell us how to go about it. And I am very sure there are a lot of questions you will do in a time.
Okay. Bye-bye. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I think you can give me.
I have a comment to make in this requirements. He didn't mention one thing. He didn't mention an understanding wife who just tolerates all that because he just reads YouTube the whole time. I can tell you that.
What about the daughter? She can also tell us.
And today I stand not at 2.6, I stand at 2.75 million on YouTube. And incidentally, I'm not saying it from the point of view of trying to make a statement. I'm the biggest fertility YouTuber in the world. It's not India. But you know what has it done?
Just say you give interview the same, it doesn't make any difference. The number of molecules doesn't increase. It is the same number of molecules which is before the stem cell is after this. But it will come up. It will come up and
it is like how we all started IVF 40-50 years back, and then we have a lot of controversies of how the sperms move. That cycle, yes, that is right. So repetition is required. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Ovarian PRP, we have been doing endometrial PRP for a long time. And then the basic, most important thing is the preparation of the PRP. So whoever is preparing your PRP should check. Probably speaks about everyone. You have to check whether the platelet count has come 10x, 10 times more, which doesn't come in a single centrifugation. It comes in at least 2 centrifugation. First thing. So whoever is preparing your PRP doesn't have to prepare a PRP, he has to prepare a proper sample. 1. Number 2, sir, we in all our patients have realized that doing a subendometrial injection and at the same time an instillation is very helpful. Number 2, sir, we have an instillation is very helpful, not leaving it alone without an instillation. So it comes down to the point that you have to take at least 40 ml of blood for these patients. The second important thing, which is very, very practical, is in ovarian PRP, you have to be clear of where the patient stands. 40-year-old patient, 0.3 mH, there is no point. It's not a question of asking that. There is no point. You have a borderline patient. You have a patient, say, 36 years of age, and this lady has an AMH of say 0.8, 0.9. She wants her own eggs. You see androgen follicles which are less in this patient. These are the patients which probably you should counsel to bring into this. Because ultimately, there is only one thing we are working for, a baby for the patient. So that is something which I just want to bring over here. Particularly in the counseling of the patient, we ourselves need to be sure if it will be of any use, then we counsel the patient. If we actually feel we're doing it because the patient wants, we've got to think about it. That's the idea.
I think,
IUI, it gives us better results.
yeah, I think this is why I said we discussed, Nair sir said the same thing. When you're doing an IUI way, the result stays for a little shorter duration. When we do it, it stays longer. So you have to keep the pressures. This is what I was telling in the talk also. When you're doing a hysteroscopic installation, you have to keep the pressure, have patients stay there for a little longer time, and then you come out, then you don't see the leaking. But I think we'll have to cut here and we can have one session on regenerative medicine, ISA 2027. See you all in Bangalore.
Thank you.